Well, good evening and welcome to yet another Monday evening edition of Atlantic Television Press Roundtable. Press Roundtable is a program for media professionals who gather here Monday to Friday, 7 to 8, to look at trending news, give insight and perspectives to them, and give balanced views. Well, today we have a number of stories to look at. Now let's look at some of the headlines that are trending. Marketers propose 720-liter suspend fuel, 720 naira per liter suspend fuel imports. ICPC grieves ministry officials over massive fraud. Ogun partners AGDC to train youths on solar panel installation. And on the GR Republic coup, 13 billion naira lost due to closure of borders. Traders lament. 100 hours weekly call, not good for doctors. Saraki. And on subsidy removal, kill corruption, not Nigerians, Bakari tells Tinubu. Fresh fuel price hike looms as loading cost rises by 37.4%. These are some of the trending headlines. Well, you can watch us via our social media platforms. They are there on our mobile app, 18 Live on YouTube and Facebook Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on the show tonight is a veteran. I'll tell you when we come back. Don't get away. Coming to you live on Atlantic Television Network here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. My name is Bon Woke. We'll go on a short break and we come back. We hit the road. Don't get away. Yeah, welcome back. It is still Press Roundtable on your favorite frequency, Atlantic Television Network here in Port Harcourt. Have you in the studio a veteran journalist? And you're talking about Kingsley George Papamie. Alabo, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Happy to meet you.
George is a veteran in all sense of the word. George, today we are looking at a number of issues. How do you see the media environment? You are in the newsroom.
Yes, the media environment right now, I think they are doing very well.
Okay.
That is to say, in trying to keep the object of information.
Information, okay.
I think communication is flowing.
Flowing, yeah.
From right, left, and center.
Okay. Now, do you think that the stories we are getting are cheering news generally?
Yes, they are, because right now we are talking about one of the Nigerian Air Force plane being crashed in Niger.
Oh.
Right now, yes, that's a
breaking news.
Yes.
Airplane crash, is it military airplane?
Yes, it's a military.
Was it going on reconnaissance?
I think it was a spy plane. I think
yes,
so.
reconnaissance.
Yes, I think
maybe it was shut down. Well, let's look at some of the stories.
Yes.
Oil marketers have indicated that the cost of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, will rise to between 680 liters and 720 20 naira per liter in the coming weeks, should the dollar continue to trade from 910 to 950 at the parallel market. We still have parallel market. They also hinted that dealers seeking to import PMS were being forced to put the plans on hold due to scarcity of foreign exchange to import the commodity. The warning came barely 1 week after the local currency crossed the $900 ceiling, 900 naira per dollar ceiling, with the naira selling at 945 naira per dollar at the parallel market on Friday. Oil dealers said the CBN importers and exporters official window for foreign exchange, which boasts of a lower exchange rate of about $740 per liter, should be naira, right, had remained liquid and unable to provide the $25 million to $350 million required for the importation of PMS by dealers. Leaders of the major oil marketers, Association of Nigeria Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, and Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners, Association of Nigerians Outlet Association of Nigeria, said there was a need for the federal government to intervene to address the crisis. George, there are two issues there.
Yes.
The drop in the value of the naira against the dollar. Which is also affecting cost of import.
Yes.
So you're talking about market forces now.
Yes.
Now you're also talking about the possibility of hike in the price of fuel. For the hike.
Yeah, for the hike.
And as the naira drops against the dollar, it's getting to 900 now. Very soon it will hit 1,000.
Yes.
And if that happens, the possibility of fuel selling for 720 per liter is very there, imminent.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your take on that?
Yes. If you look at what is happening right now in the country, we can understand that in Lagos, almost all the filling stations are shut down. Almost because of the fear that the price might soon go up again. So some of them are trying to keep reserves. You know what I mean?
That's hoarding now.
Yes, they are hoarding the products for to watch the market system.
Okay, exactly.
Whether it will favor them or it will to make them to sell at high price. You know, that's the influence they are checking right now. So that is to tell you that actually the government right now has not given Nigerians a plan on how to curb the system. Because actually, when you talk about subsidy removal, you should also be talking about considering the market forces. Because the market forces are what determine both the import and the export
and
the possibility of making an input or bringing out inputs. Those are the collections that the government should have put in place.
Yeah.
Considering the wave of governance, you have to consider it properly, because the purpose of a government is to ensure the well-being of the people and looking at the needs of the people, as well as also considering their welfare, because that is the clear principles of the Constitution
and the protection of lives and property
and their rights. All right. So here we're talking about the inflow of the dollar and the naira, and also affecting the business terrain.
Which means in the final analysis,
Yes.
the cost of importation
Yes.
of oil, of fuel, PMS,
Yes.
will be very high because we are paying more naira to the dollar.
Exactly.
And that is one of the market forces that affected the price. And so Nigerians are in for a very bad moment, a nightmare.
For a city like Lagos to shut down with
Yes.
their filling station.
Yes.
is a clear indication that there is a threat to the
Yes.
financial it's a financial system of the country.
No.
And we have financial experts everywhere. Financial experts both within and outside. That was why the Nigerians have to consider sending people abroad, and people are having the opportunity to go there to study. But of all this, what is the financial system?
Yeah,
What is the financial system of
Yes,
Nigeria?
yes.
What are they applying to the system?
Yeah.
How are they talking about considering the statistics of these market forces, and how will it help the economy?
Yeah. Now, I think there's a major issue there, my brother. The major issue there, you are talking about hoarding. The way Nigerians react to situations like this, once there's a speculation, hoarding begins to take place.
Yes.
How can we cope with the problem of hoarding? Because hoarding is the bane of, the downstream sector.
Yes.
Which is the marketing of petroleum, for example.
Yes. Yes. I think if you look at the Nigerian institution, it is failing. Nigerian institution they are all failing. They are all failing because we refuse to keep values for ourselves. You know what I mean? What the journalists know is that the society must keep values. That's why we are journalists. We make sure that what obtains anywhere, the values of the society, wherever it is coming from, is well protected and respected.
But unfortunately,
we are not finding the picture in that light now.
Now let's look at the next story. About 5 senior officials of the Department of Farm Inputs Support Services of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development have been arrested by operatives of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission over alleged diversion of funds. It was learned that ICPC detained 4 of the officials for 5 days before they were later released. The director among them was said to have been released on health grounds. Reports indicated the arrest has created tension among the staff of FISS and other parastatals in the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. A source said investigation was connected with the diversion of funds meant for monitoring exercises and sensitization programs. The situation was said to have hampered the monitoring and evaluation of farm inputs. It was learned that over 200 million was found in the bank account of one of the officials being grilled, while over 100 million was found in the bank account of one of his children. We're talking about corruption in Nigeria. You see, when we're talking about hoarding as an aspect of corruption, so we're talking about corruption in an institution, the Ministry of Agriculture, a minister that is supposed to supervise and monitor agricultural productivity and agro-allied industries in Nigeria. Now, you're talking about farming implements and all that. A parastatal in the ministry that is given that responsibility is now on the run because ICP's personnel have swooped on them. Some of their money stolen can be found even in the accounts of their children. Yeah.
So yes, I think looking at what is playing in the society, we can see by ourselves that Nigerians are not keeping a very good example. Rather, they are showing the negative impact of how the society should be in the future, rather than upgrading or setting standards. And that is why you can see somebody that is being given a public office, we go to that public office and abuse his powers, abuse his career, abuse his office. Well, I think it is high time our leaders keep values for us. The values that we're talking about is that the world should know what a Nigerian is. the world should know what a Nigerian can do.
Which means that
the world should know what a Nigerian is going for. Wherever a Nigerian is, he must have at least that part of that culture. Look at Britain. But although they are colonizers, I think what they don't have a written constitution. They have an unwritten constitution, which means they have a practice. All right. What is the Nigerian practice? The Nigerian practice, from what we have seen everywhere, is the corruption. Corruption that is eating deep right into the family. Into the family, it is going right. Why it's supposed to be guided by the parents to the child, to the children. Now it is eating deep into the family, which means that even the domestic, habit of picking, will be introduced to the child, and that will be a menace in the future.
So that's a family introducing kleptocracy, as it were.
Yeah.
I think that part of our society, rather than have democracy, we have kleptocracy. That's government of the thieves, by the thieves, for the thieves.
Exactly.
Because that is the problem we have in this country, kleptocracy. Yeah. Now look at some of the anti-graft agencies in Nigeria, ICPC, EFCC, have had issues in the past. They have been embattled, and Nigerians at a point began to ask questions about their essence, whether they're actually living true to their callings. But right now, I think that they are beginning to see some of the corrupt practices in some of these agencies, and they're beginning to catch them.
Yes.
I think that the problem we have in Nigeria is that public office holders don't seem to learn their lessons.
At all.
They don't seem to learn their lessons. But the unfortunate thing is that even the anti-graft agencies are themselves corrupt.
Yeah.
And corruption in the country is getting endemic. Just look at what happened. Massive fraud. That's the word there.
Yeah.
Massive fraud. That is a situation whereby virtually everybody involved in that parastatal is involved in one form of fraud or the other. And we begin to ask questions. From political dispensation to the other, the narrative has always been Nigeria having corrupt officials. Right from independence. And each time we have a change of government, especially the military juntas that have come, they talk about corruption in the higher and lower places. And that narrative is still on up till now. And one will begin to wonder, when will Nigeria come out of this narrative of corruption? Because it's actually what is affecting development. Monies used, for example, agriculture is a major problem. Today, Nigeria suffers from food insecurity. 28% of Nigerians can't afford what they want to eat. And that's what is defined as food insecurity. When you cannot afford, if you want to eat rice, you can't afford rice. If you want to eat garri, you can't afford garri. And you're forced to eat what is available.
What is available.
And in that case, it means that there's food insecurity.
Yes.
And there's massive poverty in this country. Nigerians have looked forward to the fact that the only thing that can rescue us from poverty is agriculture.
Yes.
Nigerians have also seen that the only thing that can make us a productive country in the real sense of the word is to go into agriculture and go into agro-allied industries. If not, Nigeria will continue to be a dumping ground for imported goods and services. And at best, will become a home for raw materials for the metropolitan countries. And that is what a ministry like Ministry of Agriculture is supposed to champion, to shift Nigeria out of this ugly narrative. But rather than do that, we are having a scenario where those kept at the helm of affairs are championing corruption and eroding the values that could actually bring to bear massive food production, massive production of raw materials, and massive agro-allied industrialization. Which way, Nigeria? How do we get out of this menace? That is the problem. Because the country is going down the drain every day, and we're talking about corruption. When Buhari came to power, he said there was going to be change, and that change was anchored on fight against corruption, against criminality, and poverty and unemployment. These were the pillars of President Buhari's government. In the present dispensation, we are talking about, repositioning Nigeria economically speaking. And President Tinubu is talking about economic reforms, financial sector, reforming the financial sector, reforming the productive sector, and what have you. Now, if corruption is not eliminated in the system, how do we get through this route and get Nigeria out of the woods? That is a big question, and I'm sure that's the question all Nigerians are asking anywhere. Now, let's take the next story. Ogun State government, in collaboration with After School Graduate Development Center, AGDC, is set to train over 500 youths on solar panel installation and sales, slated to hold between 25th August and 1st September 2023 in all the 3 senatorial districts as part of the activities marking this year's International Youth Day. A statement by the project manager, Mr. Abiola Odetola, in Abeokuta on Saturday, stated that the rationale behind the focus on solar panel installation and sales was to key into the theme of this year's International Youth Day, which is green skills for youth towards a sustainable world. The statement also added that the programs were also conceived to achieve the targets of SDG Goal 7, affordable clean energy, as well as SDG Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. They therefore enjoined unemployed youths who are residents in the state between the ages of 18 to 40 years to seize the opportunity, which will avail the set skills for an internship with solar companies, while successful trainees will be provided with free starter packs. Kids. Now, if you look at the SDGs, they talk about provision of alternative energy.
Yes.
The SDG also talk about creation of jobs, eradication of poverty, and all that by the year 2030. Yeah. That's the new. We keep shifting the goalpost.
Yes,
and that means agenda. So that agenda is what this agency in Ogun State is pursuing.
Yes.
During the weekend, we had the International Youth Day during the weekend, and it became like a jamboree all over the world.
Yes.
And in Nigeria, we'll always celebrate Youth Day, National Youth Day, which is a day that Nigerians are reminded, the world is reminded about the position, the place of the youths in national development. And the youths are the most active agents of development. You see there, the statistics there, the demographics there is between 18 and 40. This is the strongest and the most powerful, bracket of the workforce in any country. And Nigeria is very proud of having a very large youth population, more than 65%, and which the kind of luxury that you don't find in Europe at all. Now, it appears that this country, is toying with the future of its youths.
Yeah.
And whenever it comes to youth development, we talk about emergency palliatives, bring them together, training for solar panel installation, training for ICT, training for garri grating, train them for hair making, give them starter pack, and at the end of that, no monitoring. Where does that lead us as a nation that should project the development of the youths, who are the leaders of tomorrow and leaders of indeed of today? Because they're going to 18 to 40. That is the active age, workforce, education, and working life. We're not talking about tomorrow for them. We're talking about today for them.
Yes, I think.
And those in the lower bracket of 18 are for tomorrow. Yeah.
I think looking at the age brackets from 18 to 40, I think they are in the assemblage of productivity.
Yeah.
In the assemblage of productivity, you take them as technical professionals. For example, that is what is lacking in society. Nigeria absolutely lacks technical professionals, because technical professionals are the highest, or this is the huge part of a society that makes a society productive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They should because they made the workforce. They made the work because if you look at the senior workforce, you know what I mean? By this this in technology that we have in the modern society, they have this in their productivity in several organizations are limited.
Okay.
Because there is technology, right? But the middle class, that fits into any organization, to make sure that organizational problems are solved.
Yes.
All right, the managerial problems are solved. So that is it. Nigeria absolutely lacks technical professionals.
Okay. And
what we have is banditry. What we have is cultism. What we have is insecurity. What we have is poverty. What we have is hunger. All right, and then the society is not well cultured. If we are cultured like the Republic of China, let me put it that way. You see, they are cultured.
Isn't their population?
Yes, they are cultured, and by their culture, they think they are using what is the strength of their workforce. The strength of their workforce are all what technical professionals. All right, but here, even our university systems are failing. All right, they are failing because it is when you most of their lecturers are taking advantage of the privilege being given to them instead of making sure that they produce the manpower that can build the society. They build the manpower that comes into the society to even destroy the society.
To look for jobs.
You see what I mean? So even most into this system,
yes,
so that it can also help in making the system
power generated by hydrocarbons and all that, oil, PMS. Alternative energy should be the key. I think that focus is very, very timely.
Yes, it is.
And
it is.
And that will help SMEs, small and medium scale industries, which is where what makes many nations grow.
Yes.
Because this is where you have the majority of Nigerians, a large population of Nigerians. I think that their choice of vocation is very timely. But the only thing that Nigerians have to talk about over time is this idea of providing startup parks for youths, and they are not utilized. There are no proper monitoring of their activities. You provide startup parks, you should go and sell them. But if you provide startup parks and put their hands on the plow, provide a project for them, monitor them, I think that's where it works.
Yes.
But when you just drop startup parks, they take them home and sell them and say, you've sent your children to big universities and you're employing them in big companies. You want them to come and start doing small vocational jobs. They will not. They will sell them and rather choose to take drugs and get into all manner of. So if these trainee programs are well packaged and well programmed and monitored, I think that it could be a way of, empowering the young people to become useful to themselves and to the society. I think that's what we can take for this segment, this half hour. We'll go on a break. When we'll come back in the next half hour, we will give you more insights. George Papamia is still here in the studio. George, thank you very much. So we'll go on a break now. Don't go away.
Hey, welcome to the StarTimes 35th anniversary celebration. To say thank you to every StarTimes family for being an integral part of our journey, StarTimes has decided to give you a price slash on decoders. Yes, we are slashing the price of our antenna decoder from 8,900 naira to 7,500 naira and the dish decoder from 13,300 naira to 9,900 naira. But that's not all. Existing subscribers can recharge for 2 months on their current bouquet and get upgraded to the next higher bouquet. And if you recharge on the classic or super bouquet, you'll receive a fantastic reward of extra 15 days of free viewing. You can enjoy our top local and international content. So, what are you waiting for? Quickly, visit any StarTimes outlet around you to recharge or buy your decoder between June 12th to August 31st to enjoy this fabulous offer. Wow! Yay! Let the celebration begin! StarTimes. Entertain your family.
welcome back. It is still Atlantic Television Network Press Roundtable, where we look at issues and give them perspectives. Well, that's the trending issues in the last 24 hours, really. Northern traders have decried a loss of 13 billion weekly in revenue owing to the closure of borders in the region over the Niger coup. Ibrahim Dankata, the chairman of Arewa Economic Forum, disclosed this on Sunday. According to him, informal trading in livestock and food items within 7 northern states bordering Niger is worth 177 billion naira. He said that the closure of the borders in the northern region has substantial economic impacts on the livelihood of Nigerians. Dan Dakata urged the federal government to open the major Maje-Ilo border in Kebbi to allow traders to bring goods to the country. They are crying for a new route, you know. Yes. You see, the problem from beginning, let's look at this matter.
Yeah.
There are two things here. First, we have had the issue of porous borders over time.
Sure.
Because of the fraternal relationship between the 7 bordering communities, states to Niger Republic.
Yeah.
And there's this Fulani, culture, as it were, crisscrossing the 2 neighboring or sister nations. And over time, they intermarry, they cross the border freely, they bring their cattle, bring food freely, and it's a very business route. It has had its disadvantages because it has been a veritable source of smuggling, a veritable source of criminality, cattle rustling, Fulani has attack, all manner of banditry, terrorism and all that. So that route, those border communities have had so much impact in development of Nigeria, negatively and positively.
Of course.
Now we have a very big crisis in our hands. We're talking about the coup in Niger, and those borders have been closed. People are crying. Rather than talk about the reason why the border has been closed, they are talking about losses in terms of billions in trade values and seeking for alternative routes.
Yes.
Now you find out that war, no matter how small, it does not do anyone any good.
No.
Nigerians are beginning to think that maybe President Tinubu shouldn't have accepted the ECOWAS leadership position.
Yes.
Because what is happening here is that Nigeria is not at war with any country. But ECOWAS, which is Rome multilateral country,
Yes.
has declared war against Niger Republic. Not war in the sense of kinetic battle. Economic sanctions, border closures, and all that. Now, the situation now is that whatever binds on ECOWAS binds on Nigeria.
Yes.
Binds on Nigeria Republic, because we all signed the ECOWAS protocol in 1975.
Yes.
And so we cannot run away from it. So the Nigerians should not make this war a Nigerian thing and blame Tinubu for whatever is going on. They should blame ECOWAS.
Yes.
But the point is that the Nigerian leadership should influence ECOWAS to a point where they should be able to look for very peaceful means of resolving this crisis, non-kinetic means of resolving the crisis. That's what we should be looking at. You have your own views on this, don't you?
Yes, I think if we are right now, we're talking about diplomacy.
Yeah.
And the process of diplomacy, if you key into it properly, has to do with people with different theories. What theory do you have concerning the dispute? Because we're talking about jurisprudence here.
Yeah.
All right, jurisprudence is a system of judicial and statutory authorities.
You're talking about the philosophy of
law?
Yes,
the philosophy of law.
Okay.
The philosophy of law is a compoundment of how a society, is supposed to be ruled.
Okay.
The society is governed. Now, in such
by
processes, by such processes, if there's no diplomacy, we can't be having anything to do with 13 billion. All right, the border itself, as empty as it is, has nothing to do with it. But because of diplomacy, the friendly relations that has been happening, that has been taking place between the two countries, between the neighboring countries and the members of ECOWAS. All right, but where such system is being corrupted, because the system is already corrupted by coup. You know what I mean? That's the democratic system we are talking about. And every democratic system, you know what I mean, which is being deflated in Niger Republic, I think there is every possibility of reverting it.
Yeah.
And reverting it does not mean going to war. Does not mean applying force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because force, although force is the last option, we should be looking at the fact that the person, the president that is being arrested, you know what I mean, by the juntas, you know what I mean, he and his family, are you sure? Are you sure they will be safe? That's because already he has, the junta has accused him of treason.
Yeah.
They have accused him of treason.
High treason.
Yes. And the treason that they have accused him is that whether he likes it or not, he's going to face a trial. I won't know if the trial will take days, if it will take hours. There are judgments that can take hours, yes, of course. And he will go for
the
it.
Trial, this issue of charging for treason has complicated the entire scenario.
That's the thing.
Because the international community, AU, America, France, and all the multilateral organizations, yes, including ECOWAS and all that, yes, are saying, make sure that man is safe.
Yes.
Release him and his family.
Yes.
Release all the political office holders, yes, and bring back democratic governance. Yes. Now, with the move to try him for treason, seems to be a contradiction of the present position of the coupists, who have agreed, because of the Sultan of Sokoto, yes, the former Emir of Kano, yes, Sanusi, the kind of diplomatic moves they made, yes, into Niamey, the Niger capital, yes, to seek peaceful solution to the problem. And there and then they are promised that they were going to speak with ECOWAS.
Yes.
You know, this is a better option and a new development that is different from the total iron curtain that we had before. They didn't want to, yes, talk with France, they didn't want to talk with America, they didn't want to talk with ECOWAS. That was a total iron curtain. Yes. Now they have agreed. Now they have agreed to talk with ECOWAS. Yes. And at the same time talking about subjecting that man to treasonable trial. Where are we standing? I don't know, prevaricating, speaking from two sides of the mouth?
Yes, if you watch the game they are playing, is that they are creating access to make peace, because they have come to know that the step they took was a very fast one. Was a very fast one. That's why they succeeded. If it had leaked, they would have succeeded, of course. The man would have escaped earlier. And if he had escaped earlier, it would have been better. But right now, it's in their net. Now, somebody said that is in their net. How will you go for him? It's not possible. Before you get there, the person have killed himself and his family. So, what we are saying here is that the forceful means cannot save life. The forceful means cannot make things better. The forceful means will not bring that man safe as ECOWAS wanted it. But that what we are saying right now is that whether they like it or not, the international law system is that there must be negotiations. Yeah. There must be negotiations. Take up a negotiation with these people, because they have taken a step. The step they have taken is that they are speaking at least 50 to 60% of the mind of the people.
Yeah.
Democracy is what we're talking about. And here they voted somebody that was democratically elected. Now, how come somebody have whispered something to somebody concerning something and somebody is taking an action? Because already is elect something. Does that mean? The people have endured over time, over looking at the system. What happened to Sierra Leone? You know what I mean? What is happening in Sudan? So these countries,
Burkina Faso, yes, Mali.
What is happening there? You will see a clear picture that the leadership in leadership is failing. So what is happening in the system? Even in US, the leadership is failing.
Yeah.
All right.
Trump is
how will an ex-president be publicly embarrassed, harassed? Look at the harassment. Does that mean on a past president? It's abnormal. So what we are saying is that
leadership is not peculiar to Africa.
It's not peculiar to Africa. And since it's not peculiar to Africa, what ECOWAS should watch over and treat in the form of peaceful dispute settlement. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
There should be peaceful dispute settlement.
Exactly.
That is the diplomatic system. Okay. Does that mean you apply it in a way that it can save life,
okay,
not to destroy?
Okay, very, very interesting narrative there. We hope that ECOWAS will apply peace. We're talking about an aircraft that went for reconnaissance mission crashing. Let that not create further complication. Now, former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has expressed shock over the revelation that medical doctors in Nigeria work for 100 hours in a week. He made a remark when officials of the National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, paid him a visit after the suspension of their strike. Saraki commended the doctors for their patriotic decision to call off the strike. According to the former Senate President, who is also a medical doctor, the one that shocked me, unquote, most was the revelation that many of the members put in over 100 hours of service every week. I remember that as a young doctor working in the hospitals, the maximum hour I was doing per week was 72 hours. The UK and most countries have since reduced the maximum number of hours a doctor can work in a week for safety reasons. And Senate President who introduced the community health insurance scheme at the state level those days, as the former Senate President, initiated the inclusion of one. Well, I think that what they're saying there is simple. The former Senate President is shocked that doctors nowadays work for 100 hours.
Yes.
And he said in their own time they work for average of 72 hours. And he's talking about international standard. And yet these doctors are not taken care of. Resident doctors, form the nucleus of the tertiary healthcare system.
Yeah.
Because they are there, they have a period of training, and they are training in some practical, in-house kind of training, and it's a postgraduate training to become consultants. But if you look at any tertiary institution, medical institution, they form the bulk of the number of doctors that you have. And we are talking about working 100 hours weekly because we don't have enough doctors.
Yes.
And the ones we have are not being taken care of. Others are running out of the country. So do we have a country that doesn't seem to be very sensitive to these important sectors that save life and property? Are we a country that is serious? The Human Development Index in Nigeria is less than 52 years. The life expectancy, which is part of Human Development Index in Nigeria, is less than 52 years. So what are we doing about it?
Yes, I think
death rate in various demographics, infant mortality, maternal morbidity is rising every day.
Yeah.
So what is our government doing? Can't we arrest the situation, do a proper reform, call a state of emergency in the healthcare sector, and take care of these doctors that are striking? Yeah.
Yes, sir, I think one very important thing that is making the leadership of Nigeria to fail all the time in the government of Yaradua, it failed. In the government of Goodluck Jonathan, it failed. In the government of Buhari, it failed. Now in the government of Tinubu, it is failing. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about labor. You see, labor force, is being geared by productivity. Productivity is what labor stands for. Productivity is all about making sure that there is an end success.
Yeah. An
end success. So the end success should be what? Appreciated.
Yeah.
The end success should be celebrated.
Now,
the end process should be appreciated. The end process should be supported. But if you look at the Nigerian system, does that mean labor has become a sign of what? Poverty.
Yeah.
Labor has become a time of a thing of condemnation.
Yeah.
A thing of laughter.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
government is no more having.
Especially the healthcare system.
Yes.
Now let's look at this. Let's look at the last story. Lagos senior pastor of the Citadel Global Community Church, formerly known as the Latter Rain Latter Rain Church, Pastor Tunde Bakare, has declared that he was not against the removal of fuel subsidy, but the corruption in the system. The fiery televangelist also tasked Tinubu to mount a genuine fight against corruption, rise above vendetta, foster reconciliation, and give every Nigerian a reason to believe in a united country. The cleric who spoke on the State of the Nation broadcast themed Vice, Virtue, and Time, the three things that shall never stand still, held at the church auditorium located at Kudirat Abiola Weikeja in Lagos, also faulted the proposed military intervention in the Niger Republic by ECOWAS. Speaking on the harsh economy in the country, he said, what is further clear concerning our domestic challenges is that by imposing hardship on Nigerians without going after those corrupt individuals, corruptions, corporation and government officials who have plundered Nigeria over the years in the name of subsidy, the president has picked the wrong fight. The wrong fight here is possibly the Niger Republic. Yes. And then there's the next story that talks about fuel price, hike in fuel price looms. Yes. And that's going to be rise by 37.4%. Yes. Strong indication that pump price will rise because of the exchange rate in the price of in dollar to naira value, and then the issue of cost of importation and all that. So all this put together, Tinubu is talking about corruption. Kabari is talking about corruption, talking about Tinubu picking the wrong fight, ECOWAS going to fight when they are not supposed to fight. One word, 1 minute. Let's look at that.
Yes, I think if you look at the subject matter of Bakare, is that Nigerians are tired.
Yeah.
Nigerians, that is the subject matter. Nigerians are tired of complaints. Complaints yesterday, complaints today. Then what is the future? You know what I mean? We are tired. Nigerians are tired. If these Nigerians are tired,
it should keep corruption.
Yes, which means that there is need now, you know what I mean, for government to have to give people an assurance.
Yeah.
There's no assurance at all. From all what the president has been saying from when he came, there's no assurance. The assurance that we have is that our money we should pay a tax, and our money will be used to service debts. All right, our money is being used to service debts. That's why we're suffering it. So what we're saying is that the plan of the country should be structured. Nigerians should have values. If we are saying we want to fight corruption, let everybody fight that corruption to the lowest strata. If we say we want to keep to a particular value that we want other countries to emulate us, we should be able to put that plan in place so that it will be part of us. If we want to grow the system, what way are we growing? Which country are we partnering with, so that we can learn from them and then adapt it? You know what I mean? But we're not learning from any country. We're not learning from anywhere. We're not learning any system. We're not introducing any system. What the system that we have is that this is what we want to do.
Okay, thank you.
The system and the application is not known.
Thank you very much, George. That's the much we can take today on Press Roundtable. Don't forget, Press Roundtable comes 7 to 8 every day, Monday to Friday. Watch us on our social media platforms there. They're on the screen. And of course, you're watching us on StarTimes 194 on television. Atlantic Television Network is the program, and this program for journalists. Thank you, George, for coming.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget that at 9 p.m. today, we are going to have our global news roundup. That's our last bulletin. Global news comes up at 9 p.m. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Learn to give peace a chance. That's what it should be. My name is Bon Woke. Stay tuned. Tomorrow is another day, 7 to 8. Press Roundtable will come to you live on this frequency. Stay tuned.